Hello, boys and girls and children of all ages. We are back once again. My name is Jim, and we are here to talk about a new offering from Rike Knife. This one is quite a bit of a departure from everything else that they've made, and quite a bit different than anything that I've personally seen. And the reason for that, I'm just going to jump ahead to it, is the fact that this knife is made of G10, and it's an integral folder. So that means that this is not individual sides, individual pieces that are then attached to make the knife. This is one solid piece of G10 that they have machined out and built the knife within. And on top of that, literally, is an inlay of carbon fiber that is done so seamlessly that you'd swear this was one material. So you've got the red and black G10, which, as you could see from the way the pattern exposes and disappears, it's been beveled in different ways in different areas to give you a rather unique look. And then you have these absolutely seamless inlays of carbon fiber. And to say this has been masterfully done would be a horrible understatement and doesn't do it justice. This is really, really quite impressive. Now, I don't know if anyone else has done an integral in G10. It may exist somewhere. I just haven't seen it, and I've looked for it, and I haven't seen it. I've seen plenty of titanium. I've shown you plenty of titanium integrals. I've shown you even aluminum. I personally have not seen one done in G10. So I think this may be a first. If not a first, it's certainly one of the very few that exist. Let's talk about the specs and dimensions here for a moment, and then we're going to get into the things that I really, really enjoy about this knife, and we'll kind of break it on down from there. First off, the blade length is 3.75 inches with a 3.625 inch cutting edge. So you've got just a hair over 3.5 inches of usable cutting edge on that blade. When the knife is closed, it's only 5 inches, well, I say only, but 5 inches long is still pretty large for a pocket folder. So it's 5 inches long. Overall length when it's open is 8.625 inches. The blade steel is 154 cm, which is a stainless steel. Drop point style, and a lot of people are going to want to call this bead blasted. It's actually not. This is called vapor blasting, and I've talked to this before. If you go back to my custom knife factory, Peter Recenti Snafu 2, if you go back to that video, I explain what vapor blasting is. I'm not going to get quite into it here, but it's a beautiful, clean, smooth, low reflective finish that has really, I always look at it as kind of a futuristic look. It just looks so clean and so sanitary. I really love this finish. I'd love to get a vapor blasting machine. I really would. I'd love to do all my knives like this. It looks so clean, so gorgeous. Okay, it's flat ground. What else can I tell you? The liner inside. Let's talk about that for a moment, because what you've got is an insert lock. You notice it's not a full liner lock. It doesn't go the full length of this side of the frame. So it is an insert lock. And that's made of stainless steel, oddly enough, which I would have thought they would have done that in titanium, but no. This plate here is titanium. The pivot collar is anodized titanium with their custom-made pivot. And the pocket clip, which is a deep carry pocket clip, is mirror polished stainless steel. Now, therein lies, I'm going to go straight to the things that I don't like. Therein lies the one and only thing I don't really love about this knife, is the fact that it's a deep carry pocket clip. I've never seen a need for a deep carry pocket clip. It doesn't matter how deep it is. You're not concealing anything. You still got a clip hanging outside of your pocket. So people know you're carrying a knife. They know you're not carrying anything else there but a knife. And all it does is it makes it more challenging for you to get a hold of it. So, yeah, I prefer having, you know, a 1/4 inch or so sticking up from the pocket so I can more easily grab it and get a hold of it. It's also just a basic spring clip. It works phenomenally well. It's just not particularly attractive. Now here's the kicker. This knife is only $150, so you should expect that. You shouldn't expect a custom 3D sculpted titanium pocket clip on here, because it would simply price it too far out of this price range. So again, for about 140, 150 bucks, this is precisely what you should expect on this knife. So I'm not really going to give it a knock for that. The only thing I don't like is the fact that everything on here is basically, when you look at it, a satin finish or a soft finish of some sort, and this is mirror polished. That should have been vapor blasted to match the blade, and I would have been 110% happier. There's nothing else about this knife that I dislike. There's nothing else about this knife that I would change. And man, that's getting increasingly more difficult for me to say as the years go by, especially on an inexpensive knife. Great jimping on the flipper tab. It's impossible to touch that flipper tab and not rocket that blade all the way open. Really, really nicely done there. Solid lockup. It's steel to steel interface, so you don't have to worry about it wearing down. They don't need to mill out any additional pockets inside because, well, it's G10. It weighs almost nothing, and that's what we should discuss here next. And the reason why I brought out my good old Moen and Millet. I love this knife. For those who don't remember, this is the Max Evolution. I've got a video on it going back a couple of years. When I hold this knife, which again, the reason why I'm bringing it out is the size is damn near identical. When I put them ass to ass, as all things should be, they are damn near identical, both in their length, in their blade height, in their thicknesses. They're as close as I could get to any knife that I have in my current collection. This knife is fairly lightweight for what it is, being a large titanium folder. However, it easily weighs twice as much as this feels like a feather compared to this. And I can't give you, unfortunately, a proper indication or a demonstration of just how light that is. This is 3.12 ounces. This is almost 5 ounces. Huge difference between the two. And that leads into my absolute favorite thing about this knife. Yes, I love the blade profile. I love the grind. I love the vapor blasted finish. I love the unique detail of the pivot collar and the pivot plate, that little island that goes around it. And that really is needed to secure the pivot area and to strengthen the lock. Otherwise, G10 at some point, with enough time and enough pressure and enough force on it, is going to start to wear. So those components have to be backed up by some sort of metal. The thing that I love the most about this knife is carrying it, because I don't feel it. I throw this into my jeans pocket, and I truly, honestly, 2 times have had to reach over and double check to make sure that I was carrying a knife that day. I don't know that it's there. And I've had a lot of lightweight knives that, pretty much disappeared, but never one of this size, that was this lightweight, that was this, unobtrusive may be the best word to use. It's simply a pleasure to carry. Now, it is a big blade. For some people, that may be a little bit too big for them. Maybe your state legislature doesn't allow you to have a knife blade this big. You can't go over 3 inches or 3 1/4 inches or whatever your state laws are. You do want to check on that. But for those that like to carry a larger knife and a more utilitarian knife, look at the blade profile on this. There's a little bit of Sebenza in there. And what does that mean? That means it's going to be wonderfully useful. There's going to be pretty much nothing that you're going to throw at it that it's not going to be able to handle. It's got a great tip. It's got a nice reinforced tip. It's nice and strong, so it's good at being stabby. It's got a great belly to it, so it's going to do really great on any kind of rocking motion for cutting, any kind of slicing. You'll be able to get down deeper into the material that you're slicing. It's got a nice long flat edge to the blade, so as you're entering something to slice, it's going to be wonderfully easy. Whether you're cutting down boxes, opening boxes, cutting paracord, cutting down whatever it is, any food prep, it's a very, and I really can't demonstrate to you how thin that blade is, but that edge is very, very thin. This would be great for food prep. You're taking this out, maybe you're going out for the weekend, going out into the woods. This would be a nice knife to have on you. You do have a bearing pivot in there, so it is running on steel bearings. So about the only thing that you would have to worry about on this knife, let's say you were a really outdoorsy person and you wanted to take it out there into the elements, your stop pin is going to be steel, but I really wouldn't worry about that rusting. Your blade is stainless steel. If you're taking care of it, you're not going to have to worry about it rusting. The only thing I would worry about is just the bearings inside, because everything else, I mean, this is all G10. It's a G10 laminate material that can't rust or corrode or anything. And then inlaid into that is the carbon fiber. So really, this is a great knock-around beater knife that looks like a high-end custom. I mean, just look at the design of this. And I love the way that the red fades into the black on that red and black G10. And as I mentioned, you can't feel the inlays. You can't tell that there are inlays of carbon fiber just by doing a Helen Keller on it, which means closing your eyes and just feeling for it with your fingers. She was well known for her fingering practices. She could feel anything. I'm assuming. I mean, she couldn't see, so I'm assuming she could feel things very, very well. None of that came out right. Let's just strike that from the record and move on. We don't need to timestamp this. So there's the carbon fiber. Really nice carbon fiber too. So again, as far as my likes and dislikes, the only thing I don't like is just that they mirror polished that pocket clip. If that was vapor blasted to match the blade, to match the pivot island, to match the lock insert, I'd be 110% happy. I think that would be phenomenal. The only hardware exposed are the two screws that hold the insert lock into place. You have two screws that hold the pocket clip in place, which, by the way, if you don't, are the kind of person that you don't like pocket clips, you just undo those two screws, pop the pocket clip out, and you're done. You do have the one piece of hardware that goes all the way through to this side. I don't know that you'd want to have that open pocket, because that's a piece that would come out of that pocket. I don't know if you'd want to have that open. So yeah, keep the pocket clip on there. I'm not the kind of person that ever takes pocket clips off, so I've never had to really think about that, but it is easy to access the hardware. And the only other hardware is, of course, your pivot screw. That's it. So it's a nice clean look. Let's get a little bit of a distant look at it, and you just see how clean that is by being an integral piece. You don't have a backspacer like on my knife here, so all the titanium has been black coated, and then my backspacer is done in gold. So that shows you the component differences right there, that this is just one solid piece instead of being, you know, 1, 2, 3. And that's the brilliance of doing these integral designs. Listen, they're not easy to make. This may be the least expensive integral that I've seen. It's at the very least the least expensive that I've ever presented on my channel. I think before this, the least expensive may have been $400 or $500. So to see what they've achieved here and priced so low, I don't see how you can go wrong. Rike has been proving themselves over and over and over again to be in that top tier of the Chinese manufacturers. They've been doing really good at pricing their products They're not outpricing themselves, and I don't think they're underpricing themselves too much. You know, this I could see them selling for easily $200, and people would have still been very, very happy with it. But at $150, I mean, who could bitch? Who could complain? It's a really great price point. This particular colorway, the red and black G10 with the carbon fiber inlays, was an exclusive to Knife Center. And the last I looked, they are done and gone. So this one is discontinued. You're not able to buy this one anymore. But there are a myriad of other choices. There's black G10 with yellow G10 inserts and all kinds of different colors. So do check. I know Knife Center still has some as of the time that I'm recording this, and I'm sure they have other outlets as well. So if you like the idea of a good full-size knife that's so unbelievably lightweight that you really truly don't even know that you're carrying it, this is a really great choice. I think most likely where this is going to live is I have an EDC backpack, which I love, my Vertex EDC Ready Carry 2.0 or some shit. I think it's EDC Ready 2.0. Anyway, kind of goes with me everywhere when I'm taking a trip or anything. You know, and I keep flashlights in there and emergency first aid kits, tourniquets, all that kind of good stuff, and knives, of course. And the more things you put into a ready bag like that, it tends to get heavier and heavier and heavier, and the more cumbersome it gets, you don't want to carry it. I think I'm going to replace the folder that I have in there with this, because this is basically adding no weight. While weight in my pocket generally isn't a huge concern for me, when you're loading up multiple things into a go bag or a bug out bag or whatever it is that you've got, any kind of EDC bag that you might be carrying, and you're loading it up with various things, and everything that you put in there, you notice, oh my God, it just got heavier. Jesus Christ, it got heavier. That's where something like this, in a super lightweight, that's still a big, full utilitarian size, so you're not prioritizing weight over utility, I think that's where this is really, really going to shine. And now that I've thought of that, yeah, I think that's pretty much where this is going to go in about 30 seconds when I finish this video. So there you have it, guys, the Tulay from Rike Knife. If you like it, or you don't like it, or you have questions, or you just want to yell at people, go down in the comments section below and start a fist fight. That's always fun. I'll answer any questions that I see, and until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video.